Ladies and gentlemen, it's Adrian Zdunchuk, CMT, Charter Market Technician, Cryptober, but I'm joined by the one and only Mark, who is the CEO of our incredible partners at Vertical AI. You know, they have been very successful on merging blockchain with AI, just making it usable for the masses truly, and kind of like trying to simplify the whole process, make it all cheaper, more accessible to distribute blockchain and AI combination in a very unique manner. So I'm honored to be joined today by Mark. Again, welcome back to the show. How is it going? How are you feeling, brother?
Feeling great, man. So been very busy the past 2 weeks with the final sprint all the way up into towards the launch of the studio. Obviously, big kudos to the tech team, but everyone in the team was like hands-on, all on this launch, because obviously this is, you know, the cornerstone of our whole ecosystem that we are building here for our community, for our users. So a lot of pressure in the past 2 days, but luckily everything has gone as planned. Launches are always stressful. Anyone who's running a startup knows this. But yeah, now preparing also for Singapore, token 2049. So this is the last interview that I do from my desk here, and then it will be up towards partnering with people in token 2049. We'll be seeing each other there as well.
Oh yeah. I was just looking at my phone real quick, you know, for the last trying to cope for the last pictures that we actually took. You know, it was quite a couple of months ago, and time flies very fast. So it's gonna be awesome to touch the base again and then just, you know, shake the hands. And it's always an incredible opportunity, you know, to not only to talk to way smarter people than I could ever be, because I'm never a coder. I could never code. I'm too stupid for this. So I have a huge dose of respect for everybody who's dealing with that, who's a programmer. And you know, I think, you know, Vertical AI overall is an excellent source of, you know, incredible people, very good founders, very good leaders, of course, and the entire team behind it. So long story short, you know, quick round again for everybody who's new, everybody who's not acquainted yet with Vertical AI. Mark, if you don't mind just tuning it all down real quick for everybody to explain what it is.
Yeah, so like I was saying, right, we're building an ecosystem, and this ecosystem is all about, you know, making AI customization available to everyone. And to make that happen, we gotta design our platform, our ecosystem in a no-code manner. You were just saying, right, you will not be able to learn how to code ever in your life. I do think you're underestimating yourself, but this is exactly for whom we are building the platform, right? The people that don't have the time or never had the time to learn those technical skills. But in this era where AI is becoming more and more a main part of our daily lives, we wanted to put the power of custom AI back into the hands of the people. And to do that, we are building the Vertical Studio. Well, at least we're building the Vertical AI ecosystem, of which one of the main products that we've worked on in the last few weeks very hard on is the Vertical Studio. The cornerstone of our ecosystem, the place where anyone soon can come in and customize their own vertical AI model without needing to code, where we have these helping agents that are going to guide you through the whole pipeline, like the workflow to come from, you know, your messy data that you have all the way up and towards a model that actually delivers you the custom results that you are looking for in your AI model. And we are accompanying this with 2 other products, of which the first is the Vertical Stream. We had this live already for, you know, about 5 months. We've been driving massive conversion on this. We have already managed to get over 50,000 registered users on our platform. But this is just, it's an extension of the studio. The stream currently has over 30 plus major models available through one account. But the idea from the vertical stream is mainly that it becomes one of the biggest libraries of custom AI models that people can find on the web. And the beautiful thing about our library is that the creators who created those custom models in the studio, because that's the link, right? You can create a custom model in the studio, you can use that privately, or you can use it externally through API access, or you can list it on the stream. And this way, we're going to give creators of these models the opportunity to monetize the models in our vertical stream. And this is, as of my knowledge, we are the first company ever that is going to give people the ability to monetize their models without going through the whole hassle of starting up their own business, building a brand, etc., etc. And thirdly, the vertical studio and the stream are both running on the vertical cloud as much as possible. So the vertical cloud is our own proprietary orchestration software that is the first of its kind that enables, auto scaling and load balancing over these decentralized GPUs that are rented off these blockchain networks. And what we basically do with this layer in between is we make it as simple as possible. Our users don't have to worry about the technicalities. They just click on train and it's deployed automatically. And we're going to make sure that it runs and auto scales with you on the most affordable compute that is available on Earth, and that's decentralized compute. So that's in a quick nutshell a little bit what the vertical AI ecosystem is all about and what we are building. And Wednesday we did a demo. Today we're going to do a demo as well. And next week the studio is going to be live. So all these products are then finally in action in our ecosystem.
Love it so much, and it does sound like a good target, set on me as a potential user, basically, because like I said, I'm not a coder, I'm not a programmer, right? And at the same time, I want to definitely make sure that I take as much as I can in and out of this entire AI train, so to speak. So, for everybody who's new, kind of like with the release of a vertical studio, of course, with the recent partnership that you did with Fetch AI, congratulations on all of this.
Thank you.
And with the demo that you mentioned, like for everybody who's new, like the main critical problem that those people would have that the studio solves, what's that going to be?
So what the studio actually solves is that AI today is, the power of AI today is sort of locked in the hands of a few big companies and a few experts, right? And if you don't have like a machine learning engineer degree, or at least a history in, coding, or maybe you have enough funds available to hire those people, customizing your own model is sort of out of your reach, and you're sort of stuck, using the generic models that these big companies provide for you, right? What we really try to do with the vertical studio is to give everyone the ability to, go through this customization process without having to worry about ending up with high compute costs like you would do with traditional providers, or with, the technical barriers that currently exist with most, AI customization tools. And what we see is that, the studio is mainly a B2B product. And for a lot of these companies, everybody is sort of forced to integrate AI, right? If you don't integrate AI, you're going to be left behind, and a new, fresh company that does it well is going to, knock you out of the market. So all these companies, they're trying to look how they can integrate it, but they're always starting at these generic models. And we've been talking to over a dozen companies, and what we've heard is that these generic models tend not to work 30 or 40% of the time. Not because they're not capable, but because they are just not able to adopt their tone of voice. They have trouble setting up these knowledge bases for the model, so they have access to the right data of the company, so they can fetch the data and integrate it into their answers, etc., etc. So these companies, they are ending up either with hiring very expensive people or just not integrating and taking it, taking the generic models as is and just accepting that it's never going to be 100% well. So what the vertical studio is solving is that these companies, they've been building up data for a decade now, right? Everybody's been working digitally, and what we are actually solving with the studio is we give you the ability to turn your messy data that you've acquired over the last decade into AI value. So you don't have to worry about structuring the data set. You don't have to worry about making sure that it's the right format, how to train it, blah, 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 blah. You just need data. And we're going to give you access to turning that data into valuable data for AI and then integrate it into your company's processes. Obviously, this is very focused on B2B. It's going to be available for everyone. But we want to give you, we want to give you the power of AI customization without having to worry about those barriers.
Yeah, Mark, which exactly takes me, to this dataset creation agent, right? Because in the end, of course, having the dataset access is, well, it's difficult to say, at least, especially for anything that is so dynamic, so much changing, and so well, unprecedented as crypto, right?
Mm-hmm.
As Bitcoin, not to even mention, the reminder of the market. So how does the dataset creation agent work exactly, right? Why is it such a game changer to everybody based on what you mentioned?
So you have to imagine in this day of age, data is sort of the new digital oil, right? And also for these big companies like OpenAI or Google, they are paying other companies literally millions to structure data into the right format so they can continue, improving their models over time. And most of these companies, they've already scraped most of the internet to train the data on. What they don't have access to is, of course, the data that you have on your local machine, or maybe even better, the data that you have in your head. So what we wanted to do is we want to give you the power to build your own custom model. Well, 2.5 months ago, we did a beta testing of the studio. And what we've noticed was that a large portion of our data testers, it was not per se that they weren't able to complete the flow of that beta version, but they weren't able to provide the right data set in the right format. And trust me, Adrian, a lot of people have no idea how to build those data sets in the right format. You have to read all these documentations, get familiar with, how to
Super
set up your
difficult.
JSON line, et cetera, et cetera. So what we did was, okay, if we want to open up AI customization for everyone, we need to build an AI agent that is able to turn your, unstructured, messy data into a supervised, structured data set. So our data agent essentially analyzes your data files. It generates a few examples, and then we've built our own custom script that can then run, based on these examples, can run it multiple time, and then generate a full data set in the right structure, in the right format that is used or that can be used in the studio later on. So essentially, we've removed a big bottleneck for a lot of people, which we had to discover through beta testing. And well, removing this barrier kind of opens it up for everyone, because everyone is sitting on messy data, right? But no one knows how to build the data sets. Other companies are being paid millions to build these data sets. And we have actually developed an agent that is capable of doing it automatically. So quite impressive. But I like to add there. So we have the dataset creating agent live now. It's the version 1, of course. We're going to be improving. But anyone who's been following us knows that we have acquired a strategic equity stake in Levanchi's laboratory. And they've actually built their own unique knowledge graph technology, where soon, people can just dump in all their data. We don't need to generate data sets per se anymore. And it's multimodal. It can understand videos, images, code, audio, whatever. And that is even going to take this exact element all the way up to a completely new level. So yeah, data is the bottleneck. If you can solve that, the rest is sort of, let's say, a little less of a bottleneck.
Yeah, and with all that in mind, how is it different? Like, because there are of course a lot of competitors and a lot of platforms, dealing with AI, and then providing these data sets and so on. So how is it different than anybody else? What's so unique about Vertical Studio and Vertical AI in this particular context that other AI platforms don't have it, right? Is it this fine tuning tools? What is
Hmm.
it?
So what I discovered when I was, an AI specialist in a real estate developing firm, 1.5 year, 2 years ago, was that most of these AI customization platforms, they are really designed for the developer, right? They could be no code, but still the design and how you are like guided through the whole platform was still in mind that it was a machine learning engineer that was executing the task. So this is a big design flaw, right? This still, even though it was no code, it was still unreachable or ununderstandable for the regular Joe, because the design was just not made for them. So this is a big part that we differentiate ourselves on. The full design of the studio is designed in mind that even your mom should be able to do it. So that is one thing. We design it for the non-technicals, and 99% of all the platforms out there are designed for technical people. And for the rest, what we have done is, while other platforms, they have just the front end, we are trying to guide you through the whole process with these helping agents. So we have a system prompt generating agent. I'm going to show it to you in a second. We have a data set creating agent. And soon we're going to integrate all these agents so it can be even automated completely and just be done out of, a chat interface, maybe even. Um, what we try to do is we try to remove all the technicalities. It's all going to be no code. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have
That's
to,
why I love it.
yeah, you don't have to pick which model you have to choose. We pick the right model for you automatically. We try to take away as much of the technical considerations as possible, so that you only have to focus on, okay, what do I want to train a model on? Which data do I have available? Boom, few clicks and it's done.
AI simplified. I love it so much. So now, of course, you said you're gonna show us a little bit, a glimpse into that. Um, would you like, while showing this, would you like to explain how it all kind of like connects, with vertical cloud and then the stream, uh,
Mhm.
knowing that it's all part of the ecosystem?
Yeah. So starting with the vertical cloud, um, if you want to make something accessible, there's a couple things that you have to do. First of all, you got to make it, easy to use. That those were the design principles that I just explained to you. But you can make something as easy to use as you can possibly do. But if it still costs you a lot of money to execute the task, it's not accessible by nature, right? So one of the biggest cost elements in customizing your own AI is obviously compute. And I was in my research of making this accessible. This is where I stumbled upon these decentralized networks. The thing is, though, is that with most decentralized networks, is that they are not automated in a sense that you can plug them into your platform and then have it auto scale with you, etc. There's still a lot of manual tasks that you have to do before you can deploy something. And for example, most of these networks, you can rent the full GPU, but you have to rent the full GPU, even if you just need half of its capacity. And let's say in an instance, you only needed half of the capacity at start. Eventually, you become popular. You are reaching like 100% of the capacity. You have to manually undeploy it, rent another GPU in the same league, and then redeploy it again. You don't want to worry about that, right? Even as a developer that understands it, it's kind of a crucial or kind of a horrible thing to do. You want things to auto scale with you. You don't want to worry about the load being balanced over GPUs. So this is where we came up with the vertical cloud. It's like a middle layer between different decentralized networks where we handle the leasing of the GPUs. These GPUs get leased, they get pooled together into our orchestration layer. And within the GPUs that we have pooled there together, we orchestrate the processes that are happening on our platform. So because we are doing that, essentially a user only has to pay for what they use. So now They only pay for that 50% of capacity, right? This makes us even cheaper potentially than the networks that we are getting the GPUs from. Obviously, we need to get our margins there as well. But we did our first calculations, and up in this point, we are 45% cheaper than traditional providers. And with further optimization, we think that we can reach up to 75% cheaper than traditional providers, all because we have the vertical cloud integrated in between.
75%. Wow, that's impressive. So with my eyebrows lift up all the time, I'd love to see the demo. Show us what you have.
All right, let's go.
For everybody in the meantime, while Mark is hitting it up, make sure that you follow them at build_vertical, build_vertical, because that's exactly where they are. You want to hit the follow button and keep the notifications bells on, because there are a lot of incredible features. And here we are.
Yeah.
Walk us through, what do we see?
All right, so this is the landing page of the application, right? This is all non-production mode. We're going to push this next week because you don't want to push something on Friday. It's not fair to your developers. Anyway, so this is the stream, right? Here you can see all the models that we already have available. And this will soon be also the library, the collection point of all custom models. But we are interested, of course, in the studio. So when you go over here, soon you'll be able to access the studio. The first 2 to 4 weeks after we launch this next week, it's going to be free. So for everyone interested, please, grab your chance, be the first one to use it, because obviously we need to see how it responds to real user activity. I've already prepared one. So today, what we're going to be doing, I'm going to be acting like I'm a chef, and I've never managed to build, or I've never learned how to cook burgers, or let's say, I know how to cook a burger, but not the specific burger menu from a restaurant, right? And I don't want to look up the menu every time. I don't want to, read cooking books, or I don't want to have lengthy responses of AI telling me how to cook a burger. So I want short, quick responses based on, a menu of a restaurant that I'm going to be working in, and I need them quick while I'm asking for it. So let's say it, right? I need a custom AI burger cook model that can support me during my cooking sessions in the restaurant, that gives me quick responses on how to cook certain burgers. And let's say it like that, right? Super quick, not too much context. So this now is getting sent to one of our agents, and it generates an automatic system prompt for you. Well, in the future, we're going to be integrating even a further dialogue in this, because we can't assume that in the first go a user is able to give enough context. So in the future, we're going to be integrating a Q&A. What type of tone of voice do you want it to use? Can you tell me a little bit more about the restaurant? Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, this is for the demo right now. So here you see the system prompt. Okay, nice. Let's call it my burger AI model. Okay, so now it needs a menu, of course. So what I have here is a prepared data set. It is in JSON line, but as you can see, it accepts CSV, XML, plain text, and also PDFs. I'm going to use a JSON line for now, just because it speeds things up a little bit faster. Oh, wait. I have to do it like this still. We go in here, we upload it. And in this JSON line file, there are 40 records or 40 recipes that explains exactly how to cook the burger. I can show it real quickly, but it looks a little bit advanced. Here, oh. Are we still seeing it? Sorry. Give me 1 second.
It's all right. No worries.
Here. So here it's very short descriptions, right? We are asking for short, quick descriptions. This is what we are training it on. All right. So we generate the data set. This, depending on the data set, can take a few seconds, a few minutes. But what you want to make sure is that the data that we put in is in the correct format to train a text-to-text Qwen 8 billion model. This is automatically selected for the request that we made. If you want, you can adjust your system prompt here even further or even regenerate it also. But we're not going to do that right now. I'm going to show you real quickly what the dataset creating agent has as output. Let's give it some time. So as you can see here, soon we're going to have not only text to text, but also, let's say, text to image or image to text, even text to video. We want to become fully multimodal, right? Text to text is probably the first stepping stone that we're taking here. But in the end, we want to make sure that even an artist is able to train an image generating model based on the art that he has created in the past. So this, for example, could be a cool use case for an NFT creator, right? Where it is able to grab his NFT collection, train a model on all those NFTs, and then have an AI model that is capable of generating more of those NFTs. All right, so here we showcase 5 of the examples. You see very quickly, right? A question, how to make a classic American cheeseburger. Short answer. We want short answer. Secret cheesy burger, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to worry about anything. You click train model, you get brought back, and it's training for you. So obviously, we're not going to be waiting for this training to finish. I did this prior, but let's explain a little bit what is going on here. So this model is trained. It shows that it had one document in its training data set, which model it was used, for which purpose, and that it's private. So like I was telling you before, the model that you've customized will be having 3 options to use. It's 1, you can use it privately. Secondly, you can list it on the stream, or you can use it externally. If it says public, it's listed on the stream. Soon, these API endpoints are going to be available for external integrations. We expect this to be available within the next 2 to 3 weeks. This is also something where a partnership like Fetch comes into play, because this API can be integrated into a Fetch agent and can be used to do inference on through that Fetch agent to the model that you've customized here. All right, so now, obviously, you can use the model also in your interface. So the cool thing here is that you can compare it to the base model. So here we have our fine-tuned model, here's the base model. And here we can now clearly see the difference between these models. And you have to really focus on the result, right? Especially how we've set up the data set. We want short, quick answers, no lengthy recipes. I'm an experienced chef. I just need to know what the recipe is of the restaurant that I've trained it with. So let's say, give me... how do give me a recipe of classical, let's do the classical American cheeseburger, right? Boom. So here, boom. First of all, it was extremely fast. It generated instantly almost. You're going to see that the base model is still thinking. And what you can see over here, so the base model, it doesn't per se deliver a bad result, right? It gives us a recipe on how to cook the burger. But the thing was, the whole purpose is that we wanted an AI model that was quick, that gave us very sharp, quick recipes how to cook the burger. We were not looking for lengthy answers. So based on our system prompt and based on our training data set, we have now turned this base model into a custom model that exactly gives us the output that we are looking for. So this is essentially how you're doing it. If you don't want to compare, you don't have to. You can just talk to your AI model over here. It will save all the chats or create new chats. It saves all the chats. So you can just use it like you would do with any, regular model. And this is how we have built the first version of the Vertical Studio.
Oh man, What a showcase! I love it so much, and if it wasn't for the time, I would actually just ask to cut, to get a couple more renditions of that, because the comparison of how fast, how crisp, exactly essential that is, and after training that based on this custom model, uh, well, that's quite outstanding, right? Let's put it this way. It's very fast, it's very crisp, it's outstanding, um, it's something that I exactly want to see as a user, right? Because in the end, what we want to try to avoid is having multiple lines of asking, for instance, ChatGPT to do something. I mean, some people say, there are rumors that I
Mhm.
actually confirm myself, that it's gotten lazy a little bit, right? As in, it asks you 10 times before it does the thing. You have to ask them 10 times to do exactly the same. Are you sure you want to do it? Are you really sure you want to do it, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it
yeah,
just
yeah,
goes
yeah.
up. Then it spits out like all the unadjusted, untrained answer that, of course, most of the time is really inaccurate. So I'm really happy to see what you've accomplished with the vertical studio. I definitely want to see and get a taste, and then I'm gonna put my hands on it as soon
Yeah.
as it comes out. So what you
So
said, it's gonna come out next Monday, yeah?
yeah, so next week, obviously,
Yep.
it is in essence it's ready to push, but we want to make it just a little bit more stable.
Yep.
Um, but I don't want to let my developers work through the weekend,
Oh yeah.
especially with this very high pressure week. Give
Oh
him
yeah.
some rest. So next week, Monday or Tuesday, it's gonna go live. Anyone who has registered itself on our website as interested in the studio will receive an email the first. Um, and this way, we're trying to see if we can get some conversion. Keep in mind, it's going to be free, but it's going to be kept at 250 users. So the first
Love it.
250 users will have access for free for at least 2 weeks. Feel free to try it out. If you have access, leave some feedback, join the community, tell us what
Mm.
you're missing, tell us what you're loving. And yeah, we really like to include the actual users in this developing process, because we're building this for them, not for us. And well, leave your feedback, and if it's a good feedback, we'll take it into consideration for development. I would like to add here something, Adrian. I know we're running out of time. This is obviously the first version, right? Our Together with the technical team and the commercial team, marketing team, about 2 weeks ago, we had a creative session where we have brainstormed about all the features that we want to release in the next 6 months. So the whole pipeline of the next 6 months is already filled with feature releases, and we're going to be releasing new features every 2 weeks. So it's going to go very fast. This product is going to be a beast very fast. So in about 2 to 3 months, it's already going to be way more advanced, way more features, way more capabilities than what you're looking right now. But what we've done here is mainly set the foundation, right? This is the product on which we're going to keep on building upon, especially with Levanchi's knowledge graph technology being integrated very soon as well. You're going to see this product evolve so fast, and we're building this like any startup that is hungry for market share, that is hungry for revenue. We're gotta stay ahead of the curve. So super
I love it so
excited
much.
to do an interview again in about 2 to 3 months.
Oh man, I'm more than happy to do it. And for everybody who's actually, well, if this doesn't speak to you, I don't know what will, quite honestly, right? So for the first 250 people, again, for those who have declared interest and for those who haven't yet, what's the best way to start? Where should they go?
Well, join our Telegram community, of course. I mean, we're on a lot of social media platforms. I don't think we're on all of them. So give us a follow anywhere. You can keep track on everything. Obviously, our X is the main place where you can get linked to anywhere. But if you have any direct feedback for the team, go onto our Telegram group. We are always there to support you. But on the platform itself, there's also a feedback bar, and yeah, just give us a follow, and yeah, keep track on our process.
Love it so much. Wow, that's been a masterclass. Quite honestly, I'm really, well, not surprised is the wrong term, because I've been looking and behind the scenes, kind of like seeing what the guys have been cooking, and it's always very impressive. So I'm not surprised. However, I'm impressed, and
Thank
that
you.
impression is very real. So Mark, congratulations to you. What an incredible good session. I definitely am gonna rush join the Telegram myself. I definitely want to put my hands on it. So That's awesome. Well, I definitely want to touch the base in about 3 months and see how that goes. Yeah.
Please do, please do.
My man. And before that, of course, we're gonna see each other in Singapore in just a couple of days.
Yes,
And
sir.
well, everybody, that's been truly my honor as always. It is with Mark, who is the CEO of Vertical AI. We're incredible people, incredible partners and friends, incredible people to follow. Hit the follow button, set the notification bells on. They truly deserve it, and get your access to Vertical Studio.